Dark Souls. Man, I love this franchise. I played these games countless times. My first Souls game was actually Dark Souls 3 back in 2016, and that is 10 years ago. It's been a while since I've even played the franchise in general, so we're gonna start with Dark Souls 1. And what better thing to do than to start a series of Bonk Souls? Very simple. I get only the Great Club and I just bonk everything. I am 100% sure I am not the first or the last person to do it. It's just my playthrough. Without further ado, sit down, grab a snack, grab a blanket, get cozy, because it's going to be a long one this time. And before we get into this, we got some rules here. Rule number 1, once I get the Great Club, I cannot use any other weapon outside of bows for certain items or gear. Number 2, the only magic I can use is weapon buffs, not even personal buffs outside of the cleanse. That way, if I am sitting in poison, I can clean it up. No blocking, only parrying. No shields allowed. The only shield that is allowed is the Green Crest shield for the stamina regeneration. Now that the rules are set, let's begin. I chose the deprived class and went straight to jail for saying peanut butter on a McDouble is excellent. You need to leave! Which I still stand by despite my incarceration. After I escape my cell, I wander about, wondering where the heck to go. I unfortunately did run into the warden, the asylum demon. I attempted to fight him, but alas, I have no weapon, and he gave me a big old slap on my forehead, and I thought the best idea was to do a tactical retreat. I do find my club, albeit not the Great Club, a glass of Sunny D, and I make my way back to round 2, and fortunately, I do have the high ground. I fall into his head, and I use the club to break my fall, dealing tons of damage, and a couple bonks later, the demon goes down. But I do need to remember that I need to come back so I can get into the painted world of Ariamis. Now that we are here, what I did not tell you is that I have a keepsake that I get to choose, and I chose the Master Key, which is vital to take on the Great Club as soon as possible. And as you see, what I am holding right here is not big enough. Pause. Anyway, I do go down and I go into Londo ruins just to skip over it and go up the stairs with a locked door. This is where the Master Key comes into play. It does help skip quite some time, about an hour or so, depending how fast I'm going. After some panic rolling and going through the smelliest swamp of Lordran, I have finally claimed my beloved Great Club. But we do have an issue at hand. I am not strong enough to wield it. Marvelous. I do need a whopping 28 strength, but I am currently at 11, so it's time to grind. After some time, I do realize I have been leveling up the wrong stat this whole time. I've been doing dexterity. And as you know, the Great Club is not a dexterity weapon. This is quite the revelation. Realizing my mistake, I, of course, took my anger out on the fake Havel. And I do discover in my in-depth research that there is a respec tool. Because in Dark Souls 1, there is no way to respec your character. Pop up that tool and change my stats accordingly. But of course, I'm not going to do anything ridiculous. I am just taking all the points I invested into dexterity, just into strength, plain and simple. I'm not doing a full restart. Next day rolls around and I completely did not forget to press the record button to show my Capradema boss fight. So here's the Gaping Dragon instead, with a very scuffed looking arena due to a bug within the Dark Souls remastered shaders from the Nexus mod website. So I'm going to cut this one short because my eyes were burning and I don't want yours to burn either. He did kill me 4 times, and on my 5th attempt, he eats me. But apparently he does not do any damage, even though he has 1,000 teeth. Hey, I'll take that win. A couple bonks later, he goes down. Time to move my way back into Blight Town to take on Quelaag, the creepy half-lady spider demon abomination. I have a quick question for you guys. With a body like that, do you think she uses her actual mouth or her spider mouth to eat? Because if I'm going to McDonald's, gotta figure out how I'm gonna taste my food, you know? Anyways, whatever you may think, please leave a comment down. Boom, engagement. Oh, I'm so good at this. Now that Quelaag goes down, I go to ring the bell, and it is time to take on the bell gargoyles. Going into this fight, I did not realize how over leveled I was. Look at the damage. I do take off his tail, but his tailless friend did not take that lightly, maybe from some PTSD, and wanted to show me his hot Cheeto breath, and I was not taking that kindly. I did not want to know what it smelled like or what it felt like. So I bonk him to oblivion, and now I'm on my way to ring the second bell, which leads me to... I don't know who Sen is, but screw you, guy or gal, for making this wannabe wipeout course, but instead of bouncy balls and water, it's full of snake people, sharp objects, and titanite demons at the very bottom. And of course, giant balls. But I do make my way to the top, and I do end up beating the Iron Golem. It's an alright boss, but he does have a funny death if you do enough poise damage when he is next to the cliff, and you're able to send him off the arena promptly, which I did find quite amusing. I didn't think that would be possible. That was my first time doing that, so very nice. But enough about giant falls and big balls. Let's go to my favorite location of all of Lordran. This area is the pinnacle and the peak, absolute cinema of Dark Souls 1. The beautiful sun, the enemies are all nice to show their sense of royalty over the ghetto area you were at before. And of course, the bosses, not talking about you, but the main piece of this location. Anyway, after fighting through some giants in armor and Silver Knights of Londo, I do run into my favorite NPC of all the Dark Souls. And I went off to Ornstein and Smough. Smough? I don't know. I'm gonna say Smough. That's how I've always said it, but if it is Smough, I've heard some people say it, let me know. But they are such an iconic duo boss. First, you're not only fighting one, but two bosses at the same time. One is slow, but heavy hitting. The other one is very fast with lightning abilities. And what I do find really nice is that you take down one, the other one absorbs the power of the deceased, which I find super cool. But I did the basic strategy. Ornstein goes down first. Smough takes his electricity, and he is the same speed. He just has a butt slam now, so it's not really that much different. Whereas if you did it with Ornstein, he just becomes massive and he still has the same speed, and it's terrifying. But I will say the fun cuts very short because I was playing with Glitchy Chew. I'll put him in the description as well. We were doing a Soul Link Nuzlocke, and I had my overlay over that prior going into my Dark Souls playthrough through that day. And
is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
Did forget to turn it off. Outside of being stupid, he does go down, I will say. It took him down pretty quick. It only took 3 tries this time. After you kill them, you do get access to the Lord Vessel from Guinevere, which not only gives you access to the end of the game, it does also give you access of teleportation, which is my favorite thing because I am tired of running around in every single direction. Now, I have a hit list of who I need to take down. Seath the Scaleless, Grave Lord Nito, the 4 Kings, and then the Bit of Chaos. Before I do that, there are a couple things I need to go do because of one of my rules in mind. I need to go cry a little bit. And now how do I cope with this crying? Instead of eating a tub of ice cream, I do a little bit of solo leveling. Now I'm ready for my scripted death from Seath, so I can be sent to my prison, uncurse myself, and put the guard to sleep. A nice little tap on the head, and take his keys that he oh so conveniently had, and listen to the most annoying sound of all of Lordran. Well, these guys don't like it either. So what do? They take it out on me instead of the Snake Man and beat the ever-living crap out of me, which is great. And after turning off their perpetual soundboard, I made my way down, and it took many attempts to find Seath because I completely forgot about the invisible paths, and I have fell a few times. I said hello to some terrifying overgrown crabs, and I finally meet Seath the Scaleless. He has an amazing design, I will say, but his boss fight, I also will say, not the best. Just does a couple of swipes, an occasional cursed breath, and that's really it. And his only quirk, I would say, is that he has a crystal, and you just pop the crystal for him to become not immortal anymore. Kind of weird that it's that easy. Anyway, now that Seath has gone down, it is time to move on to my next victim. But I do realize that at this current state, my bonking stick is not at its full potential, and I need titanite chunks and then finally a titanite slab. So what do I need to do? I do a little trickery, of course, to give myself maximum humanity. And then on top of that, I had to find the symbol of avarice. I had to kill a lot of dark wraiths, and you're about to see how many I had to kill. It took a whopping 13 resets to get the chunks that I needed. Now that I have what I need for the Titanite chunks, I need to get two things. The Peculiar Doll to get access to the Painted World of Ariamis. And then I also need a Titanite Slab, which the reskin of the Asylum Demon does have. So I go back, I take on Asylum Demon 2 and get my Titanite Slab. And then I pick up the Peculiar Doll and make my way back. And I am fully powered to finish this game now. Yippee! And now getting a little flashback to all the falling attempts I did get from finding Seath, I did find out where falling would be actually pretty good for me, the Abyss. Yes, my second target on the hit list is the Four Kings. I don't know how that works when there's 4 Lord Souls and 4 of these entities make up 1 Lord Soul. So would that mean there's technically 7? I don't know. Anyway, take on the 4 kings, and it is a little weird of what happens here. With the amount of damage I'm doing is not matching the actual enemy count in this boss fight, because I wasn't even done taking out the 4th physical king, and the boss health went out before the actual enemy health, if that makes sense. You can look right there, and that, yeah, it looks really weird. Cool how that works. The 4 kings now become the 4 cases of regicide, and I get another Lord Soul. Now, next victim, Gravelord Nito. But unfortunately for me, Gravelord Nito, he's actually protected by the hardest boss in the entire Soul series to date, Pinwheel. I don't even know how I can explain such a diverse and well thorough boss. Like, it's so good. The teleportation, the magic spam, the clones. He's dead. Anyway, I make my way to Nito. What I do not like about Gravelord Nito is starting the boss fight with half health every single time, even with the cat ring. Kind of stinky, you know? Outside of that, the boss is not really that hard. It's just the ads that are really annoying. And if you try to run away from Nito, he does like this ground attack where you get a bamboo shoved right up your keister. Not a fun time, I will say from experience. But if you just bum rush him and ignore the ads, it's not that bad, as you can see right here. But the longer the fight lasts, the more annoying it will get. So it's best to just blitz Nito and just take out the ads that are like in your immediate vicinity so you don't die right away. But outside of that, it's not really that bad. But now I am 3 out of 4, and I gotta handle one of the ugliest but one of the easiest boss, if not the easiest boss, Ceaseless Discharge. There is a cheese where you take him and go all the way to the end of the boss arena where it's like kind of a cliff, and then he puts out his whatever that is, just smack it a couple times. Hopefully it's not something, you know, and you send him off and he falls and instantly dies. So it does save you a few minutes, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not trying to cheese, as I said in one of my rules, except for the Iron Golem, because he decided to fall off. I have smacked him oh so many times, and I did quite a moderate amount of damage, and he does go down. He's a very easy boss, not really anything crazy, so that's just going to be brushed right over. But apparently killing the Ceaseless Discharge, the entire lava zone evaporates. I'm not sure how that works, but he is the reason why it was there, and I'm not doing a covenant to go through the alternate route, so he needed to go, and on top of my rule, he must die. But I do make my way through some copy and paste, and after running away from all the copy and paste, I ran into, guess what? More copy and paste, as this time They just tweaked the saturation, but I will be brief. Asylum Demon number 3, he is gone. One more hurdle before the last soul to wrap this all up before I enter. Like the gargoyles, another statue awakens, but instead on the rooftop being the arena, it's about 90% lava that does more damage than the boss itself, I will say. What I did not take into account though, by doing Jolly Cooperation, the centipede was very upset with this and decided to take most of his anger out on Solaire, who was not dying immediately to the lava, nor was he not dying to the boss at all. The boss wasn't really doing much. And what I did find cool is that he does a grab attack I've never seen before. I've never seen that, so cool. And now with the ring of the charred orange, I can now run through the lava zone and not die immediately. But trade-off is speed run to becoming deaf. I'm gonna let you take that in. That sounds absolutely lovely, right? Well, I cry as I run through Lost Isolith with this newfound tinnitus and make my way to the last boss for my last Lord Soul, the Bed of Chaos. Genuinely the worst boss of all time throughout all of these games. Genuinely. The floor collapsing every second under your feet, trying not to fall, and the boss's ranged attacks with its flaming spider legs, the flame eruption attack, and then the constant sweep attack that slaps you into the holes that appear on the map. The amount of times I have fell and have been slapped. My poor desk is all I'm going to say. But the one redeeming quality from this boss fight is it's still trash, I will say it there, but the one small thing I will give is that the progress stays, or at least in this one. I don't know if it didn't save before from the first like original Dark Souls, but in the remastered version, the progress saves, which is very nice because I'm pretty sure if I had to deal with that for 30 more minutes, I would not have a desk anymore. And I make my way into the correct hole, and there's a bug inside. It is ugly. Look at this thing. Not even its mother could love it. And after that, I immediately put the 4 Lord Souls into the Lord Vessel to open the final area of the game. And we are not going into the end game yet because I need to go back to the Anor Londo area and shoot Guinevere in the face, because it actually gives me access to go take on her brother, who you would need a covenant item for, which I am not trying to go get. So the fastest way, just give Guinevere a little shot to the dome with a nice good old arrow, and you immediately get access to the boss arena. If you have one of the rings, I am pretty sure I equipped it just to see the fog wall open. And it's a very straightforward fight, quite literally straightforward fight. Cool magic, but it's very slow, and he does not have that much health, and he went down in like 5 minutes first try. Not even 5 minutes. 5 minutes is very generous. Anyways, for some reason this doll is the gateway to suck you in through the painting like it's Mario 64. Not sure why. Anyway, I make my way through this disgusting place and I say hello to Priscilla, which she did offer me to leave without any violence, but as for rule number 5, you know how that's gonna play out. She's dead. Moving on. And now before I go to the end, I must go through the DLC, which I absolutely love. You go back in time to Ulyssil, which I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in Lordran, I guess, but I don't have any of the footage going into it because if you put your computer to sleep while you're still recording, boot it back up, it doesn't say you're recording anymore. If you try to press record again, your whole computer whacks out and your recording disappears. So I have no entry into Ulyssil, and I don't have the first boss fight, which is the Sanctuary Guardian. I'm very sorry. Anyway, I go to Artorias, who I don't have the footage for because of what I previously mentioned. So I make my way to Manus, the father of the Abyss, the creature that took out Artorias, who was the previous boss before him. And my first time ever fighting Manus, it took me like 30 attempts and I barely won on that 30th attempt. But unfortunately for him, I was kind of overpowered and he did not last very long, and I barely used the talisman that negates his magic. I do avenge Artorias and I do give his soul back to his lady because I do not have any use for it. And then I look for Goff because he is actually my key to my final boss before the end game. So it's a really cool guy, and you ask him, hey, can you shoot that dragon up in the air? And he says, I got you, fam, and snipes the dragon. It was my first time seeing this cutscene because I've never fought Kalameet before, because I didn't even know you could fight him in the first place. And I thought that was really cool. But he falls. I go down there and I bonk the living crap at him. He's really cool. He reminds me of Madir the Dark Eater from Dark Souls 3, the Ring City DLC. So that was cool. Now that we are finally nearing the end, going through the quiet and kind of sad killing of the first flame, it's just ash everywhere and there's no one really there outside of the Black Knights. But past them is the boss, who is just as sad as the location he resides in. The piano playing, the background, the look on his face, he kind of looks depressed. But finally, it's him being alone, a king alone, tending to a dying flame in a location of isolation. You had to do so much just to find him, so he's isolated by himself. So it's all very sad. But getting into the boss fight, he is very easy, and you can make it even easier if you just parry him to death. You don't even need a shield for it, and I don't do that because that's just, I want to end on a bonking note and just smash him into the ground, which is what I did. But due to me making 3 more videos, I do need some continuity, and I do want to fight myself in the future, so I tend to the first flame. And that's how I became the Dark Souls 3 final boss, the Soulless Ender. And that was my journey through Dark Souls, or in our case, Bonk Souls, bonking everyone into oblivion and yapping about it for who knows how long. It's probably going to be 30-35 minutes. But if you would like to see part 2 and 3, leave a like and comment down below what you think, whether it's positive or negative. And that's all I got. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and remember, don't go to Wendy's at 3 a.m.